Use headphones for a better experience.
Sometimes, the smallest actions can make the biggest difference. What started as a simple ride home turned into the most chilling experience of my life. This story isn't just about horror, it's about paying attention to the warnings we often ignore. It was a Friday night, and I was coming back from a long shift at work. The restaurant where I bartend had been unusually busy, and I was exhausted. It was nearly midnight, and the streets were quiet as I waited for my Uber outside the restaurant. The car pulled up, a black sedan with the license plate I'd seen in the app. I climbed into the back seat and barely looked at the driver. He was wearing a cap pulled low, and his face was obscured in the rearview mirror. I gave him a polite "hi," but he didn't respond. I figured he was just one of those drivers who didn't like to chat, so I put in my headphones and closed my eyes. About 5 minutes into the ride, I noticed the car was taking an unfamiliar route. I pulled up the app to check, and it showed the ride was still active, but rerouted. My gut told me something was wrong. I leaned forward and asked, "Hey, this isn't the normal way. Everything okay?" The driver didn't answer. Instead, he gripped the wheel tighter, his knuckles turning white. I froze. My heart started pounding, but I tried to stay calm. "Excuse me, can you hear me?" I asked again, louder this time. Still no answer. The only sound was the hum of the engine and the faint noise of my music through the headphones. Suddenly, my phone buzzed. It was a text message from an unknown number. I opened it, and my blood ran cold. The message read, "Get out of the car when it stops. Don't ask questions. Run." I stared at the screen, trying to process what I was reading. Was this a prank? How did someone get my number? Then I noticed something strange. The driver's phone, mounted on the dashboard, lit up with a notification. It was a message from the same number. "Don't do this. You'll regret it." The driver swiped the notification away quickly, but I saw it. My stomach dropped. I wasn't imagining things. The car turned onto a narrow, deserted road, surrounded by dense trees. There were no streetlights, no houses, just darkness. I knew then I wasn't being taken home. The car began to slow down, and I remembered the text. "Get out of the car when it stops. Don't ask questions. Run." My hands shook as I reached for the door handle, waiting for my chance. The car came to a stop on the side of the road, and the driver finally turned around. His face was calm, but his eyes were cold. "You're not supposed to be here," he said quietly. Without thinking, I flung the door open and ran. I didn't look back. I just ran as fast as I could down the dark road, my footsteps pounding against the pavement. I could hear the car door open behind me, but I didn't stop. After what felt like forever, I saw headlights coming toward me. A car. I waved my arms, screaming for help, and the car stopped. It was another Uber driver, a woman in her 30s. She rolled down the window and said, "Are you okay? Did he let you out?" Breathless, I asked, "What do you mean? Who?" She looked at me, her face pale. "That driver. I was supposed to pick you up tonight, but someone took the ride before I got here. I tried to warn you." I stared at her in disbelief. "That was you who texted me?" She nodded. "I recognized the license plate. It's been flagged before for suspicious activity. I tried to stop him, but he got to you first." I climbed into her car, shaking from head to toe. She drove me straight to the police station, where I reported everything. The next day, the police found the black sedan abandoned in a parking lot. The driver was gone. Inside the car, they found a pair of handcuffs, a roll of duct tape, and a knife hidden under the seat. I learned 2 things that night. First, trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. And second, small actions can save lives. If that woman hadn't gone out of her way to warn me, I might not be here to tell this story. In today's world, we're so used to staring at our screens that we forget to stay aware of our surroundings. Pay attention. Trust the little voice in your head. And never ever ignore a warning, no matter how small it seems. Because sometimes it's the only thing standing between you and a nightmare.
Don't miss out on the scares. Ghosts, subscribe to the channel for terrifying stories, legend breakdowns, and more. Bell, turn on notifications and experience horror like never before.